Hey, my friends, welcome back. If it's your first time stopping by, thank you for coming. If you're a regular here to the channel, again, thank you, my friends, for being here with me today. Now, today, we're going to be talking about isopods today, but we're going to be talking about one specific type of isopod today. It's one of my favorites, and it's not necessarily one of the most challenging to keep. It's not one of the rarest species, and it's just the fact that it's just so unique, and every single one of them is different. I think they're absolutely fascinating. Maybe, dare I say, magical. Now, you guys know full well my love for the land shrimp, the incredible crustaceans we call isopods. In truth, some isopod species, to me, are incredible, amazing. Some even are breathtakingly colorful. And one species, like its namesake, I find to be truly magical.
What sorcery is this?
Of course, I'm talking about none other than Armadillidium vulgare Magic Potion. Mine happen to be of the Japanese line. We'll talk a bit more about that in a bit. So where does this magical creature come from? Armadillidium vulgare is a very common isopod with its origins based in Europe. However, this species now seemingly has global distribution. Through selective breeding, the expression of a Dalmatian gene was developed, and the form known as Magical Potion is a morph derived from that. One in which naturally occurring yellow spotting or irregular blotches shine through as they're unaffected by the Dalmatian gene, as it only affects melanistic or dark pigments. This gives these incredible creatures the magical appearance of a translucent to white base with irregular yellow and black spots or blotches, every single individual being unique from one another. There's two well-known forms of Armadillidium vulgare Magic Potion, both being developed independently from one another through selective line breeding. The first one was in the United States, as well as one was independently developed in Japan. Both forms were fairly costly and highly coveted isopods, not only a couple of years ago. However, they have definitely entrenched themselves within the hearts of many, as they are now somewhat more plentiful and a bit more readily available. Thankfully as well, their prices dropped significantly to make these fantastic creatures more accessible for all to enjoy. Both forms have differences in their variability, but mainly the keynotes of difference are that the US line is somewhat larger and replicates somewhat slower than the highly productive Japanese line. There's been multiple conflicting accounts regarding the spotting and blotching size and the amount in one or the other. However, having only kept the Japanese form myself, I cannot offer any personal comment as to its validity. Regardless, either or, they are without question one of my absolute favorite isopods that I maintain, and I can always be counted on to catch one's attention with a seemingly mesmerizing appearance. One could easily see them fitting into a scene of one of the Harry Potter movies or the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Now, caring for them is fairly straightforward if one has experience with members of the genus Armadillidium. Armadillidiums are primarily vegetation-based detritivores, with rather low protein requirements as compared to, say, members of the genus Porcilio. Look at this little guy emerging. A high-quality, natural loose organic substrate with the addition of components such as rotten wood, natural mosses, and lichens. My main mix that I use for most of my applications is comprised of a base of high-quality organic soil mix, earthworm castings or sea soil. I like the one by Fox Farms as it has produced exceptional results for me over the years, but any good quality humus-rich organic soil should work fine. I add in other components to make it loose and airy, such as tree fern or fir bark, ground up oak bark from the slabs that I collect, Rotten wood is a very big component of all my mixes, but you have to be careful that you have to find naturally harvested rotten wood that's white rot and still clean and spongy to the touch. I use copious amounts of leaf litter, as you can see, sphagnum moss, peat moss, charcoal, sand. These are all exceptional components of a good soil mix. Only components that I truly avoid are products made of core. And core is basically a ground up shell of a coconut and the husk there on the outside. It's a very popular media used in horticultural use and extremely popular as well for reptile enthusiasts because it's an incredibly long-lasting, moisture-retentive media. However, for isopods, it offers absolutely nothing to them. One other ingredient that's very common in soil mixers, which offers nothing to isopods, albeit it's not necessarily harmful if there's small amounts of it in your soil mix, is perlite, the little white specks of volcanic. One last very important ingredient is the addition of calcium. Calcium for isopods is absolutely critical, and I'll have a video on that coming out shortly, but calcium for isopods can be derived from many sources, such as crushed eggshells, dolomitic lime from a garden center, oyster shell that's sold in farm and feed stores for chickens, powdered calcium, but my main two go-tos are calcium carbonate. It's a sand-like product that's often sold for reptile bedding. It's a true calcium source. As well, I also add into every single isopod bin a cuttle bone, which is a product derived naturally from a marine cuttlefish, a cephalopod related to an octopus. These are sold in the pet stores everywhere as a calcium source for birds, as well as for something to work or hone their beak on. I liberally add handfuls of calcium carbonate sand to my mix when I'm preparing my bins. I like to see the white grains of calcium carbonate throughout my mix, which gives me visual assurance that it's present. The calcium carbonate also aids in stabilizing the chemistry of the substrate to protect it against sudden crashes of the cultures. Feeding is pretty straightforward, as long as the substrate itself provides the bulk of their nutrition. I also offer prepared gel diets, tropical fish flakes, as well as occasional vegetables like carrots, zucchini, and sweet potato. And my absolute favorite is
this food here. This is from Supreme Gecko. This is Wally Kern at Supreme Gecko's Isopod Chow. I give it an absolute 100% thumbs up. It is an awesome food, and I think it's an integral part of the key to my success with all my isopods.
Most Armadillidium species are very tolerant when it comes to humidity and soil moisture levels, and I find that Armadillidium vulgare magic potions are no different. There's a reason that they've been able to capitalize and basically spread all over the world. They're very adaptable. In my tubs, I tend to keep most of my Armadillidium species with about 1/3 of a moist area of the tub, and the rest being slightly drier with very dense leaf litter. I do my maintenance once a week, and I use reverse osmosis water. And for me, this culture of magic potions has thrived. So with that, my friends, I sure hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm truly honored to be able to present to you one of my absolute favorite isopods. And hopefully the magic of the magic potions will ensnare you as well. Till next time, take care, my friends.